Good morning and welcome to Korea Today, live from Seoul.
Amid strained ties with Korea and China over history and territory, Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe tells reporters that he wants to sit down with the leaders of Japan's neighboring countries.
President Park Geun-hye once again fully denies being involved in the spy agency's alleged meddling in last year's presidential election. More coming up in the headlines.
Head of spending watchdog already directly speaks of external pressure. More coming up on In Print.
And the new type of donation culture in Korea that's encouraging people to pay in advance. I have that coming up shortly.
Another layer of reality with augmented reality, which combines the real world with a virtual one. See the latest developments on how this technology is being put to use. Forever young. Aging in the skin is only natural, but chemically reactive molecules called reactive oxygen species can accelerate the process. We take a look at what can be done with Dr. Tan on Tuesday, August 27th, 2013.
From Arirang News, this is Korea Today.
Good Tuesday morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
And good morning. And Minjung, I was looking at the calendar, and it's amazing how time flies because Chuseok is less than a month away.
That's right.
And it seems that with the Chuseok season, well, let me explain what Chuseok is first. Chuseok is one of two major extended holidays here in Korea. It's much like Thanksgiving, and it's celebrated according to the Lunar New Year holidays or the new lunar calendar. And of course, that's where family is spending a lot of time together, and what's called a mass exodus begins. And in line with that, over the next 4 days, starting today, pre-sales for train tickets, including the KTX, will begin. And the Korail has announced that they're going to extend the number of trains running for the influx of passengers by 9.1%, and the KTX will be running a record number of 238 trains daily.
Okay, you want to catch your breath a little bit?
Yes, I am.
All right, well, to be ready for this mass exodus, Korean Air and Asiana Airlines will be operating additional flights as well during Chuseok, and there will be some 25,500 tickets up for grabs, and these tickets sell out fast, and these tickets will go on sale starting tomorrow. So if you are interested, go to their websites and book those tickets to spend some time with their loved ones.
Exactly. Pre-sales, that's the way to go. Definitely. You don't want to stand in line.
All right, we'll begin Korea Today with a look at the day's headlines.
President Park Geun-hye has once again made clear that she did not benefit from the spy agency's alleged meddling in last year's presidential race. Now, this comes months after accusations were made and less than a week after lawmakers ended their parliamentary probe into the matter.
작금에는 부정선거까지 언급하고 있는데 저는 지난 대선에서 국정원으로부터 어떤 도움도 받지 않았고 선거에 활용한 적도 없습니다.
And the president went on to show her full commitment to reforming the agency.
야당에서 주장하는 국정원 개혁도 반드시 이루어낼 것입니다. 우리 안보를 책임지는 국정원 본래의 역할을 제대로 할 수 있도록 국정원 조직 개편을 비롯한 국정원 개혁은 벌써 시작되었습니다.
And President Park also expressed her will to meet with ruling and opposition leaders to discuss improving the livelihoods of ordinary people. But the main opposition Democratic Party condemned the president's remarks, saying she has failed to see the essence of the problem. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has expressed his wish to hold a one-on-one meeting with President Park Geun-hye. Abe, who's on an official trip to Kuwait, reportedly said Monday that he wants to mend strained diplomatic ties with Japan's neighboring countries. The Prime Minister also expressed his will to hold summit talks with Chinese leader Xi Jinping. Now, Abe's comments come about a week after the Japanese foreign minister suggested holding a bilateral meeting between Abe and President Park on the sidelines of next month's G20 summit in Russia. Korea's foreign ministry said last week nothing in detail had been discussed, adding that relations between the two countries cannot improve if Tokyo continues to distort history. China's top nuclear envoy Woo Tae-wei made a surprise visit to North Korea on Monday, although it did not specify a reason for the visit. Pyongyang's state-run news agency reported Woo and his delegation arrived in the capital. Experts say the top priority on Woo's agenda will be to discuss resuming the stalled six-party nuclear disarmament talks. The South Korean government is said to be keeping a close eye on Woo's visit as his trip coincides with the 10-year anniversary since Beijing started chairing the multilateral talks. The six-party talks involving the two Koreas, the U.S., China, Japan, and Russia, began in 2003. The meetings were able to produce some agreements over the years, but eventually failed to deter Pyongyang from its nuclear programs and have been at a standstill since 2008. The number of babies born in Korea last year increased by nearly 3% compared to the year before. Statistics Korea says more than 480,000 babies were born in 2012, and the number of babies expected in a woman's lifetime increased slightly to 1.3. That number has shown a steady increase for 3 consecutive years, but experts point out that it is still lower than other OECD countries. The average age for a Korean woman to have her first baby was a record high 31.6. Now, officials say because 2012 was the year of the Black Dragon, according to the Chinese zodiac, many couples planned to have babies last year because the Black Dragon symbolizes power, energy, and luck. The agency also said the sons and daughters of baby boomers are now in their 30s, contributing to the slight rise in the nation's birth rate as well.
Good morning, everyone. Today I want to begin by building off of Hyungyung's headlines on the President Park's claims that she did not receive help from the National Spy Agency in the past presidential election. Let's first take a look at our first daily Joseon-ilbo. The headline up here reads, "Ruling and opposition further divided, signals crippled National Assembly in September." The article says, along with her comments, the three-way talks between the president and the heads of ruling and opposition party that was slated for later this week has now become suspended. Now, the opposition party has been consistently calling for a meeting between the president and the leader of its party. But the article says the Blue House has instead called for a 5-way meeting between the heads of the parties as well as floor leaders, the offer which the opposition refused to accept. While the 3-way talk is now suspended, Park said on Monday that she is willing to meet anytime if the topic of discussion is about the livelihoods of the people. The Daily, citing officials from the party, said it will be hard to normalize the political situation before the regular session of the National Assembly starts in September. Let's now go on over to our Gyeongyang Shinmun, which also deals with President Park's comments from yesterday. The headline up right over down here reads, "President Park received no help from spy agency during presidential election." Now, the story here tells us that on top of denying any involvement with the spy agency scandal, the president went on to say that she will pull through with reforming the National Intelligence Service, something that the opposition party has been consistently demanding. She added that the process of reorganizing the structure of the NIS has already begun. Now, right next to the story, you see over here the chief of the Board of Audit and Inspection here with a grim expression. This is Yang Kon, and this is him immediately following his farewell address on Monday. As you may remember, he has offered his resignation last Friday. Now, to tell you more on that, let's go on over to our next daily, which also has the same picture at its front page. And the headline here reads, "Yang Kon tried to block outside influence but was inadequate." On Monday, Yang gave a farewell speech upon voluntarily resigning from his post as head of Board of Audit and Inspection. During the farewell speech, Yang said he tried to stop all the countercurrents and drafts from inside and out during his term to raise the independence of its work, but realized his efforts were simply not enough. Now, his comments came amid controversy surrounding the board's inspection into a river refurbishment project during the previous Lee Myung-bak government and allegations that the Blue House has meddled in the audit agency's affairs.
Now, it's quite interesting that the former chief has actually used the word outside influence. Now, this is expected to cause a little bit of stir as well.
You're right, and he also even went on to say that compromising political neutrality under certain situations is basically the same as selling the soul of the Board of Audit and Inspection. So that's already using some strong words there. And now the opposition party, according to the article, has asked the Blue House to uncover the truth behind all this incident. So we'll have to see how this all rolls out. Now, switching gears, let's go on over to our business newspaper and take a look at the side story right over here. The headline over here reads, South Korea to participate in development at North Korea's Nasan Special Economic Zone. So if you take a closer look at this image right over here, this is Russia and this North Korea. And the orange part right over here is Najin Special Economic Zone. Now, President Park Geun-hye has reportedly ordered Foreign Minister Yoon Byung-se to look into the so-called Najin Hasan project at a recent cabinet meeting. This Najin Hasan project is a project between North Korea and Russia that's working on modernizing the railway system and Najin port there. Citing a high-ranking official, the paper says the Blue House is preparing for a new level of energy diplomacy by looking into strengthening economic cooperation with North Korea. With that, we will wrap your look at what's in print today. Next up are your closing numbers from Monday's market action.
So just a week or two ago, I said the afternoons felt a lot cooler, and both of you disagreed with me, but there's no disagreeing with me now, right?
I don't necessarily disagree.
Well, the Korean
I like to be
meteorological-
correct.
Well, the KMA seems to agree with you there. A lot of the heat wave advisories have been lifted. And for more on the look on today's weather, we'll get a look at that with Dami joining us. Dami, good
morning, Dami.
She's on a rooftop.
Yes, she is.
Good morning, everyone. Today I'm reporting live from Cheonadong in Gangdong-gu, Seoul. This morning we are seeing bright and beautiful skies. It is due to a high pressure system coming in from the North Pacific. It looks like commutes this morning will feel nice and cool because there is a slight breeze that is blowing here and there as well. Now, as for the temperatures, all of the nation has been lifted from heat wave alerts. It looks like conditions will be slightly cooler. This morning, temperatures are at 21 degrees Celsius. However, our highs will peak up all the way to 30 degrees. So as you can see, there is about a 10-degree difference between our daytime highs and lows. Well, with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the weather around Korea. Daejeon's highs will reach up to 31 as Daegu looks the hottest at 33, while Gangneung will be the coolest at 29. Busan and Jeju Island will both peak up to 31 degrees. Now, the difference between our lows and highs are quite significant, so try and dress accordingly to your surroundings. Also, this Thursday, the entire peninsula is expecting showers, which will lower our daytime highs to below the 30s. That's all I have for the weather. I'll be back in a few moments.
This summer, the Geum, Nakdong, and Yeongsan Rivers were hit by a severe algae outbreak, causing alarm across the country. But recently, algae blooms were also detected in the upper regions of the Han River.
Now, this could mean that this could affect the Han River, which provides drinking water to 10 million people in Seoul. Now, the outbreak first began at the month of June, and it is going, but it's still too early to see whether it will affect the Han. But we'll get a look on this algae break and what may have caused this breakout.
The Paldang Dam is where the Namhan and Bukhan rivers come together. A glass of the water here clearly shows there are small substances within it. This is none other than blue-green algae. It causes algal outbreaks.
The blue-green algae found in the Paldang Dam is a type of microcystis. This is one of the smallest microorganisms in the world, and they have a character of photosynthesizing in water, so they spread at a very rapid speed. In the case of major spreading, it causes the water to taste weird or smell, so it's an important organism to manage in order to maintain conditions for drinking water.
Water in the upper region of the Han River contains 210 algal cells per milliliter, compared to the non-existent amount before.
The number of cells found in the Han River waters this time was at 210, which is not at the lowest of danger levels yet. In order for blue-green algae to be a threat, it needs to hit at least 500. The indirect index, which is the amount of plankton in the water, needs to be more than 15 milligrams for 1 cubic meter, but the numbers are lower than that as of now.
There are signs of the algae outbreak, which swept the waters of the Nakdong and Yeongsan Rivers, appearing in the upper parts of the Han River as well. Out of the 4 major rivers in the country, the Geum, Nakdong, and Yeongsan Rivers have all seen the rapid spread of the green wave, reaching levels of great concern.
There are 13 reservoirs in the 3 major rivers down south, and of them, 7 have received attention alerts. The algae has slightly died down because of the rain last week in the southern region, but the summer heat is expected to extend into late September, which is why we need to prepare for this.
The Nakdong River has been taken over by green floating matter, dyeing the waters green. Studies indicate the river is full of blue-green algae, which causes the algal outbreaks.
Nakdong River has become like a lake. Because of that, the algae that used to be produced in the lower regions has spread. So now there's not much difference in the lower or upper areas.
Yeongsan River is no exception. There's a distinct green belt surrounding the river, and in some places, prevention strips have been put in place. At Cheongju Lake, algal blooms cover the entire surface, making it look as if green paint has been sprayed across. As conditions deteriorate, these substances in the water start to decay, giving off a rotting smell.
The reason why algae outbreaks occur is because of the water temperature, the amount of sunlight, and the nutrients in the water such as nitrogen and phosphorus. It's hard to pinpoint just one reason for it, but in the case of the southern regions this year, because they received such a small amount of rain, it seems likely that is the main cause.
The limited amount of rain the country received has slowed down the water flow. Also, the heat wave, which shot temperatures above 33 degrees Celsius for more than 40 days, contributed greatly to the problem by increasing the water temperatures. Meanwhile, some say the algae outbreak is getting worse due to the 4 major rivers restoration project. They argued that irrigation pools that were built for the project have slowed down the flow of water, contributing to the major outbreak of algae. The water flow at the Sungcheon Strip in the Yeongsan River has slowed down 6.8 times than before, while the Cheoksan area has an increase of 8.4. But some people disagree. They believe that the cleanup effort around the 4 major rivers has actually blocked off the seeping in of illegal farming water that has actually prevented the algae from spreading further. Starting from the area south, Yeongsan, Nakdong, Geum River, and Cheongju Lake have all been hit with the algal blooms, leaving waters south of the Han River contaminated. But now, the upper region of the Han River itself is also being threatened. The problem is that what would have normally dissipated within a week in any other year has lingered for more than 2 weeks, threatening the supply of drinking water. If the algae spreads, it would create water unusable for farming and industrial purposes, and the smelly toxic blue-green algal blooms could penetrate the running water system, which is why a swift solution to the problem is necessary.
Nitrogen and phosphorus flowing into the water can be easily deterred depending on the efforts made.
This can be done by cutting back on the amount of sewage that flows in or the amount of farm waste that enters the river. Another method is to spray the waters with substances that do not have an effect on the underwater ecosystem or temporarily install facilities that can create the same effect.
According to monitoring reports by the Ministry of Environment, the rain last week has somewhat contained the spread of algae in the Nakdong Rivers, so that's good news.
Right, but it's not just the outbreaks in the rivers and lakes. If you remember, Korea's oceans suffered from red tides recently affecting many in the fisheries industry. It is something that we need to do something about. If we don't, then the matter is only going to worsen by the year.
Right. And if you're interested in the subject, then the Ministry of Environment will be releasing a weekly report every Monday on their monitoring and also the results. So you can check that at their website. And still ahead on Korea Today, Lee Tae-ho will be joining us for augmented reality. You might not know what that is, but it's actually been around for some time. Be it for education or practical needs, this technology continues to evolve, taking you into a new dimension and offering up easier access to information.
But before we do that, we're now going to talk about the spirit of giving and sharing that's spreading here in Korea. And for this story, Kim Chan-ju joins us. Good morning.
Good morning. I have a question to ask you two all. Have you heard of suspended coffee movement?
Yes, we weren't born yesterday.
Okay, so it's that movement where you can go in and purchase a cup of coffee and buy another one, but not get it. You can leave that coupon for someone else.
Exactly. It's been around 100 years. So
that's right.
I didn't know it's been around that long, but wow, 100 years.
It started back in Italy, in Naples, and of course it is the campaign that started the way to helping those in need in a very simple way, and the movement is becoming very popular around the world. And in Korea, recently, a similar type of trend started called MiriNae, which means pay in advance. So let's take a look. This Chinese restaurant in Gangdong-gu in eastern Seoul is bustling with people at lunchtime. Hot, spicy dishes are immensely popular, but there is another thing this place is known for. The coupon is the secret behind high popularity in this restaurant.
MiriNae coupon is a system where you prepay money for underprivileged children or elderly citizens so they can eat with that money. I think it's great that someone in need can eat a meal with the small amount of money that I've paid.
The customer paid a meal in advance and put the MiriNae coupon in the box. The coupon is then used for those in need of a free meal.
A mother and daughter recently visited to eat some noodles, and they gave us a coupon worth 30,000 won using the daughter's pocket money. Regardless of how much I sell, it feels great and it gives me more energy to continue my work.
The suspended coffee movement was born 100 years ago in Naples, Italy, and has spread through social media. The idea is simple. You pay for coffee or food in advance to offer to the needy. The movement developed suspended coffee into a more diverse range of industries, including coffee shops, restaurants, dry cleaners, and bookshops, which are called MiriNae stores. This is Professor Kim Jun-ho, who first introduced the movement in Korea.
Suspended coffee movement is different from MiriNae shops in that it targets specific people like the homeless. I decided to take out the concept of coffee and put it in shop instead for our movement. Shops can be run by anyone, and shop owners will take more responsibility.
The MiriNae movement was introduced earlier this year in Korea, and now there are some 80 shops nationwide. at the front of each shops or restaurants taking part in the MiriNae movement will have a sign like this. You will also find a notice board like this one, indicating the available amount of food or drink. For example, in this cafe, right now, 1 iced Americano, 1 iced espresso, 1 Guatemala coffee, hot or ice, and 2 homemade cookies available. So let's go in and find out more. After enjoying my cold beverage, I decided to donate a homemade sandwich set. It is up to you to decide which venue and how much you want to donate. You can also write down who you want the donation to go to. MiriNae coupons are not just for those having financial difficulties. With this donation, you can spread the joy of sharing with just a cup of coffee. The main purpose of the MiriNae movement is so that people can appreciate the little donation when they receive it.
아이스 아메리카노로 쓸게요. 네. 안쪽에는 따로 없어요. 카페를 이용하거나 커피를 마시고
I think this coupon provides a good opportunity for people who want to have coffee but cannot afford to. Someday, when I have the chance to and my circumstances improve, I would like to make my donation to others. It is a good thing that the donation culture is catching on.
제가 미리 내고
Seohyuk-jun has been interested in charity operations while running his t-shirt manufacturing business. He joined MiriNae movement by opening an art experience cafe. The types of MiriNae stores are becoming more diverse since this movement helped increase their sales as well.
Apart from helping others with food, culture can be considered as donations as well. Those who receive donations can enjoy cultural experiences from people they don't know. This can create heartwarming sentiments, and everybody is part of this donation culture. That is why I started the MiriNae shops.
Maintaining the sharing culture is very important. Donation movements like MiriNae can contribute to expanding sharing culture in our society.
With just a few months on since MiriNae movement began in Korea, this unique donation culture is already widespreading and becoming the catalyst for sharing and heartwarming society.
Sometimes making a donation can seem a bit daunting, but these MiriNae stores make that easy for you because you just have to get an extra cup of coffee for that someone who needs it, right?
Exactly.
But the number of stores are increasing here in Korea, but I would think there are some special requirements to be registered as a MiriNae store.
Actually, to become a part of MiriNae store, you don't actually need any sort of franchise registration payment or extra fees, but there are 2 requirements that you need to follow. First, the store needs to be run by the owner, and the owner should be the one who's applying for MiriNae service. Actually, as we saw, the store pretty much has to have given the freedom to operate the store, the MiriNae service as they choose. So therefore, these requirements are there just to make sure that the owners have more responsibility. There are currently about 80 stores nationwide in Korea, and the service is going to reach up to 100 stores at the end of this month, which is very soon. And of course, this is spreading overseas, which is very good news. There are already 2 stores open in Sri Lanka, and it is going to prepare launching very soon in other countries like the United States, Canada, and Japan. So.
Under this MiriNae title with this.
That's right.
Okay.
What about limits on sectors, though? So it doesn't matter what kind of business you own, but as long as you own your business, then you are able to register?
That's correct. There are no particular limit on the sector. You can actually do this service in any sort of business that you run. It could be coffee shops, it could be bookstore, it could be spas, anywhere that you can reach within our daily lives. Because the purpose of the program is that we help out people whenever we can, wherever we can. So.
Well, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are asking this question. Of course, you can go in there and you can donate to the MiriNae service
Right.
there. But how do you know it's going to the right people? What if people want to take advantage of it? I mean, it's not like they're going to carry around a proof of income.
Well, it's a good point. Well, according to Kim Jin-ho, who started this campaign, well, it is not advisable for the owners to make the decision of who should receive the donation and who shouldn't, because MiriNae service is not exactly the charity organization. So therefore, it is not fair for the owners to make that decision. For example, judging people's appearance. So therefore, the more important thing is that people can help each other out through this very easy donation service, and it's very accessible because you can go pretty much around in your neighborhood to coffee shops and things like that. It's very easy
Make
to donate.
donation easy. That's the whole point, right? Thank you for that feel-good story, Chanju.
Thank you.
All right, we're now going to go to another woman who makes us feel good. Our Dami, who is standing by in Gangdong-gu, Seoul. So over to you, Dami.
I'm back reporting live from Chanadong in Gangdong-gu, Seoul, where you can find the Shipjasung village. So with a history of about 40 years, the Shipjasung village was established back in the year 1974, where war veterans of the Vietnam War gathered. Now, last year in October, this village was selected as an energy self-reliant village, making it 1 out of 7 of the energy self-reliant villages that you can find here in Seoul. So right now, I'm at the first floor of the Village Assembly Hall, and what we're seeing here is just a chart where you can see in one point of view where how the village itself is saving energy. So right now, what we're seeing is that 14 out of 46 households are making use of sunlight energy instead of just energy. And right here, what we're seeing are some graphs of the residents. And basically, the red lines that we saw are how much energy that they used last year, and the green hearts are how much energy they used this year. And compared to last year, they said they saved 10% of the energy here in this village. So also, this is something that I see a couple of times, which is a bicycle that produces energy. I'm gonna go ahead and try it out. Oh my gosh, I have all the lights not turned on. Okay. Well, first of all, I just want to say that there are many ways to reduce the amount of energy used, and starting with the small things is, a long way to go. So the Shipjasung village will be open to the public until next year, so why not make use of this great opportunity? I'm Idami, Korea Today.
Well, if you've seen science fiction movies, then you've had a taste of augmented reality in Minority Report, or if you've seen Iron Man, you see them, messing around with the screen. That's not really there, right? For more on this and the progress of augmented reality, we're joined by Lee Tae-ho. Good morning, Tae-ho.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me. You're absolutely correct. Now, the augmented reality technology has been around for quite some time, but it has kind of changed over the years. And now the first place it was implemented was in military tanks and airplanes, and now it's being used more and more on our mobile devices. But I don't want to give too much away, so why don't we go ahead and take a closer look.
Just by looking at objects wearing specially designed contact lenses, you can see information about your surroundings. This is what the future of augmented reality may hold for us, where the two worlds of reality and virtual reality come together. And recently, a mobile augmented reality technology has been developed to help people learn about history. The Donggol-do painting from the late Joseon dynasty showing the Changdeok and Changgyeong palaces is a bird's eye view of the palace layout.
Taking a look at this image, it can look quite complicated, but through augmented reality, we can get a much clearer picture of what this would look like.
By using the tablet PC camera on the Donggol-do, you can see the inside of the palace, as well as the images of these old buildings in 3D. Depending on the angle of the camera, you can view different parts of the palace in detail.
You can't tell the difference with the naked eye, but there are signs the computers can recognize. We use those marks as recognition points.
Not only that, you can experience the historic space and elements of the place that are hard to grasp in a 2D layout. using the augmented reality technology, making it easier for people to understand. The French legation that once stood in Cheongdong, Seoul around 1900 has now disappeared, but you can see what it looked like through augmented reality in 3D.
Right now, we type in information to search things on portal sites. But things will change in the future, so that all you need to do is look at things through a device that will provide you with that information.
Augmented reality also has great usages for educational purposes. There's the AR book that shows AR animation images on each page when a camera reads the images from the book. Images come alive, providing real-time educational information, and the books also act as audiobooks, helping readers to learn more effectively while having fun. Meanwhile, there are a variety of mobile applications using this technology in the entertainment field. Book covers, posters, and advertising brochures can also provide related information in augmented reality. By simply running the app, the contents become easily accessible, providing various information using images and information that have been saved ahead of time. This makes the technology an attractive marketing tool.
This is just like any other paper bill, but when you hold your smartphone camera over it, something interesting happens. Let's take a look.
After launching an augmented reality app, the figure in the 1,000 won bill in the smartphone camera talks as if alive, and video contents are also played. The same service is also provided for the 5,000 or 10,000 won bill.
If augmented reality further develops devices, we'll be able to recognize 3D objects and people and provide contents on it using various devices.
A technology that brings reality and the virtual world together, augmented reality. It holds much potential for future technology development.
It was interesting to see great scholar Tae Yi-hwang being a little goofy there. But it only works on special bills?
Oh no, actually the best part about this technology is that it can be any image that is set to the application, and basically what happens is the application on your smartphone reads the image and is recognizing the points on the picture. So basically any image or content that is connected to that image, it'll bring up for the user to really enjoy.
Okay, this is really cool, and it has that wow factor, but it's being used for advertisements from what I've seen so far. What are some of the practical ways of using it in real everyday lives?
You know, unfortunately, we mainly see it in advertising right now, but there are a variety of practical uses that are being planned for the future. One way is for education. Now, a lot of students, they get kind of bored looking at just a regular 2D book, but the future is digital textbooks where this augmented reality is being implemented to kind of have a more interactive and fun learning experience. And for existing 2D maps, what this augmented reality technology will do, it'll add a layer of 3D to make it a little bit more in-depth. It'll give tourist information as well as restaurants and medical facilities if the need arises. So there's a variety of uses
What
for
about
this.
those glasses that we see that incorporates augmented reality technology?
Well, you know, there's a lot of products that we don't see out on the market currently, but that are in development. And what you mentioned right now, the glasses, Google leads this technology, and basically they're just like regular glasses. You can view your surroundings, except that it'll offer a lot more in-depth information using this augmented reality. And another product that's kind of being developed right now are a type of contact lenses that use a head-up display system that soldiers use too.
Wow.
Yeah, so amazing.
I don't know about those glasses. I think I'll start to think, am I seeing things? You know, like all these things
Then
popping
we'll just
up.
have glasses, and then we'll have everything printed out on
Delusional.
our glasses.
Right in front of our faces,
Exactly.
yes.
But thank you still.
It was yeah, there's so many things that I've yet to see. You know, I'm really looking forward to how this technology is going to be used in the future.
Of course, because you're a tech junkie, and me being a tech junkie as well. We'll be looking forward to all that. Thank you, Teo, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, still ahead on Korea Today, we know oxygen is good for you, but apparently not all oxygen is good for you. Reactive oxygen species which build up in the body can accelerate aging, particularly in the skin. What can be done to curb the oxidation in the body and keep you free from this harmful substance? Dr. Dan has her answers.
And a good Tuesday morning to you all as we kick things off in the world of figure skating. Now, of course, Kim Yeon-ah has been wowing her fans with her amazing performances, whether it be the Les Miserables performance or the Imagine performance. But now she has her new performances to showcase. Now, with the short program, she decided to choose a musical piece from a Little Night music titled Send in the Clowns. The piece also received a Grammy back in 1975 for its music, as she decides to go more upbeat with her free program, choosing a tango piece for the first time since 2006. Now, the song is titled Adios No Niño. Now, she has completed both her programs as she hopes to master it before showcasing it for the first time in October when the second Grand Prix event takes place in Canada. And we go from one star to another as rhythmic gymnast Son Yeon-jae prepares for the World Championships taking place in Kiev, Ukraine. Now, despite the number of medals she's been able to win during the past 5 World Cup events, the 19-year-old has yet to win a single medal during the World Championships. Of course, coming off of an impressive finish at the last World Cup event of the season in Russia, she hopes to win her first medal at the Worlds. But despite her recent success, it's the 2% that she's lacking as she makes a bit of a mistake here and there in her performances, leading to a drop in the points. Now, if she can fix those mistakes, a podium finish at the World Championships is a possibility. And moving on to the K-League Classic, where one team is in the process of completing their team sale. That's right, Seongnam Chunma has decided to sell their team to a new ownership despite being one of the most decorated domestic team here in Korea. Now, according to the team, the One Corporation has stepped up, stating their desire to buy the team as the process is still going on. Sources say that there's a good chance that the city of Ansan will be the host city for the team. This comes to a huge shocker for all the fans in Seongnam as the team boasts 7 K-League championships, including 3 in a row at one point. And despite the high fan base, the sale will happen for sure. And moving on to the KBO, where all 9 teams took a break from the sport last night. So let's take this time to check out the current standings in the league. Of course, taking a look at the standings here, first off at the top of the league, the Samsung Lions still managed to hold on to their first place spot after losing it for a day this past week. The LG Twins continue to stay close at a half game back, with the Tucson Bears struggling late in the month, dropping 2 games to the NC Dinos and the Hanwha Eagles last week. Meanwhile, Nexon Heroes remain in 4th place at 6.5 games behind the league leaders. And now moving on to the bottom half of the league, no change from last week as the Lotte Giants remain in 5th place, just 2 games behind Nexon. SK Wyverns in 6th place, now 4.5 games out of the playoff spot, with Kia, NC, and Hanwha at the bottom of the league once again. And finishing things off and staying in the KBO, looks like another Korean pitcher in the league might be headed to the majors next year after one major league team expressed a great deal of interest in Samsung Lions closer Oh Seung-hwan. The 31-year-old, who holds a record of 27 wins, 12 losses, 272 saves, and an ERA of 1.68 in 9 seasons with the Samsung Lions, will be pursued by the Seattle Mariners, according to the team scout. The agent scout for the team stated that they will visit Korea one last time to finalize their decision to bring the closer to the majors after the season. While many expected Oh Seung-hwan to head over to Japan after the season, looks like chances are high that he might become the second KBO player to head to the majors since Lee Hyun-jin. And that's going to wrap it up for me. This has been SJ. Have a great rest of the day and see you guys again for your sports needs.
It's time for a health check. I think we all agree that we want to stay forever young, but one of the main culprits behind aging is the reactive oxygen species. How can we prevent or reduce this substance from developing from our body? And our doctor, Alice Hyung-dan from Samsung Medical Center, joins us. Good morning.
Good morning.
You know nothing about aging, though. You are so...
That's very kind.
Right.
Aging is a complex and natural process, and science is unraveling a lot of its mysteries. There's a lot of interest in learning more about aging because a lot of us have an interest in turning back the clock, so to speak, in terms of our appearance, but also because we want to prevent a lot of the diseases that are associated with aging, such as heart disease, dementia, and cancer. Reactive oxygen species can accelerate the aging process, and antioxidants can counteract some of those harmful effects.
All right, we're going to be looking at this video to look at how this works and find out more about it.
The aging of skin is a natural phenomenon, but why do some people age faster than others? Skin aging occurs not only internally, but also depends on exposure to the sun and pollutants, which is called photoaging. The reactive oxygen species that are made under these conditions accelerates the process of aging in the skin.
The oxygen that we obtain through breathing is metabolized as it runs through the cells. And the oxygen with high oxidizing power that's created in this process is called reactive oxygen.
Reactive oxygen species are also caused by environmental factors such as car emissions and ultraviolet rays, natural factors such as immunity activities, and habitual factors such as smoking, drinking, and other various reasons. Reactive oxygen damages the membranes and DNA, speeding up aging by causing the loss of function or spoiling the quality of cells. If this is the case, what are some ways to reduce the amount of reactive oxygen accumulated in the body? To dilute reactive oxygen species, it's important to eat antioxidants, and it's best to consume colored foods on a regular basis. Red foods, including tomatoes, chilies, and apples, contain lycopene and polyphenol, while carrots and pumpkins are rich in carotenoid and beta-carotene. Green foods such as spinach and broccoli contain a lot of vitamin C, while cabbage, radish, and potatoes help reduce oxidizing in the body. Black foods such as blueberries and eggplants are rich in anthocyanin that prevents aging. It also boosts resilience in the skin by stopping reactive oxygen species from accumulating in the body.
Antioxidants not only play the role of reviving cells in the skin, but in the entire body, and it relieves the body from reactive oxygen species. That's why if you eat antioxidant foods, the body gets healthier, your head gets clearer, and your face becomes clearer with more resilience in the skin.
Exercise, if carried out regularly, can bring the levels of reactive oxygen species down. But excessive amounts can have the opposite effect, so discretion is required. A healthy amount of exercise can increase antioxidant capabilities, which helps prevent aging and fatigue. Not only that, antioxidant injections which are full of vitamins remove the reactive oxygen in the body and revitalizes the skin, bringing back clean and healthy skin with its resilience and natural gloss, making them increasingly popular.
If you receive treatment through an intravenous injection, the concentration in the blood jumps by 140 times more than when orally taken. So you can expect a very high antioxidant effect.
Other than this, there's also moxibustion in Oriental medicine that can help reduce reactive oxygen species by supplementing the body with more energy and improving the immune system. According to research by a local research team, patients who receive moxibustion treatment near the navel and lower stomach 3 times a week showed a 22% increase in antioxidant enzymes that transform reactive oxygen species into non-reactive oxygen. By changing certain lifestyle habits and receiving treatment when necessary, the rate of skin aging can be slowed down, allowing people to maintain a healthier complexion for a longer period of time.
Okay, so we saw the video, but a lot of it just flew right by me. What exactly are these reactive oxygen species that we're talking about?
Okay, so reactive oxygen species are chemically unstable molecules called free radicals that contain oxygen. They're naturally formed in our body when we exercise and also as food is converted into energy. They do have important functions in our normal health, but an abnormally increased amount of reactive oxygen species, this is known as oxidative stress, this can cause damage to our body cells, our DNA, and body chemicals.
It sounds like something I don't want in my body. Is this absolutely necessary that you get rid of it?
So, not necessarily. Reactive oxygen species are not all bad all the time. They do have important functions in our body, such as killing off harmful bacteria. The problem is our body is able to neutralize a lot of the free radicals that are formed, but if that capability is overwhelmed, then we may need extra antioxidants in order to stay healthy.
Well, other than accelerating the process of aging, then what other effects does it have?
So reactive oxygen species and oxidative stress has been linked to a number of diseases, such as Alzheimer's disease, cardiovascular disease, dementia, degenerative eye disease, and diabetes as well.
So quite severe than aging, I guess.
There are a lot of side effects that are involved.
And
Now,
what are some of the foods that you have to stay away from taking in to reduce reactive oxygen?
yeah, what can we eat? What do we have to stay away from?
So the foods to avoid would be fried foods, especially deep fried foods. And also foods with a lot of preservatives, such as prepackaged foods and canned foods. Alcohol and foods that are high in cholesterol can also increase free radical formation.
Well, you're just naming everything that I love. It's just like,
but he looks so young,
just
so.
starve, right?
Is it okay then for me to keep consuming fried dish and have the supplements to get rid of my the special species, the reactive oxygen?
To offset it, right?
Yeah, to offset it. No. What's your verdict on that one?
So taking some degree of antioxidants in terms of supplements, I think that's always sort of a good idea, sort of as a backup. If you're going to be in a situation where you're under a lot of oxidative stress, then taking some antioxidants is probably a good idea.
But stay away from fried food is basically what you're saying.
I don't know
you
if I
broke
could
my
do that.
heart this morning.
Well, thank you, Dr. Dan, for your time this morning.
You're welcome.
All right, we'd like to thank our viewers for joining us on this Tuesday morning on Korea Today.
And join us again same time tomorrow for more.
All right, goodbye. Have a great day.